Kingdom Dance. WrestleMania, we don't know what the main events are. But Cody's in the story. Yeah. All right, so I think I can make that work. What's going on, everybody? It's Rings and Rambles here on a Monday here on the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel, on the podcast channels, wherever you get them, on Wrestle Room. And if you're finding us anywhere else, go ahead and follow Wrestle Room on the channel, all that good stuff. Want to shout out to everyone who supported us. We had a really big episode. Nick Harson with me. Me and Bill Apter did a pop-up live stream after last week's big WrestleMania kickoff in Vegas. It did quite well. So hopefully more of you are joining us on these live streams here. 100,000 strong on the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much.
Yes.
We just dropped some new content on there as well with some legal in like a legitimate lawyer. Is it law or lawyer? I clearly don't know what I'm talking about. We have a lawyer come in and give us a legal breakdown of this Vince McMahon case, which is intriguing in that sense, even though it's still a depressing story to follow, but still there. Want to shout out to everyone who's joining us live. Go ahead and hit the like button, get in the comments, get your stuff on screen. How you doing, Carlos? How are you? Want to hear from you guys. What do you think of the WrestleMania main events? It all broke down on Thursday in Las Vegas, something that got a ton of attention. Nick, what did you think of it before we jump into all this? Because we're getting Cody versus Roman. We know we're getting that.
Yeah. It was wild, just because of everything that was going on prior to that. It seemed like Cody was handing over his spot to The Rock. Then, Roman's like, Cody can't even make his own decisions. I'm picking The Rock. Then Cody's like, no, that's BS. I'm facing you, Roman. All this. It was amazing. It was crazy. It was cinema. And I'm excited. I'm excited for it. Exactly. But
cinema. Every time I say that, I just feel like I'm going to roll into cinnamon. So it seems like we're definitely going to get Cody versus Roman, and Cody is I don't want to say retconned it here. The Rock is heel. Something he even said on social media, by the way. He was kind of dispelling some conspiracy theories that have been brought up with him about the Maui chariot, and in that, someone was trying to say that because he got booed by this crowd, he's the crowd's really turned on because of his charity thing not working in Hawaii. And then he goes, this was a wrestling angle,
right?
Where I'm a wrestler and I turned into a bad guy and I was a heel. And he's just kind of like, no. Patrick Pennock saying, damn right, Cody versus Roman. Cody deserves it. If you want to see Rock, Triple H versus The Rock, well, I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll get into that because, of course, during this whole thing, though, on the back end of it, Rock goes off. He's walking out with Roman. They're walking out together, which gives you the sense that they are some type of cohesive force. More on that in a moment. And then they go off on Triple H. He's doing like a kind of wrap-up interview with Jackie Redmond. And he says, fix it. And then Triple H clarified on SmackDown that this is indeed the main event. It will indeed be Cody versus Roman, that The Rock does not have a say in it, and it doesn't matter what he says. He also says that some people don't know their role, which I thought was it was clever and really cheeky and stuff like that. I know some people think this is going to tease to a Triple H Rock confrontation. Maybe they get physical a little bit. Maybe there's a punch or something like that. I don't see Triple H getting there and having a match. No. This is a guy who has a pacemaker. He has a very, very serious heart issue. He is not wrestling again. That is not happening. There is that. I'm of the thought that Triple H will have some type of supporting role. Rock will have some type of supporting role. But this thing got even weirder. Did you see this trailer? This like cinematic, like big action movie style trailer that WWE put out yesterday, right before the Super Bowl, which was an entertaining game. And there's some WWE people and, commercials and stuff like that. But WWE wanted to be a part of that conversation. This trailer has Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins facing off with The Rock and Roman Reigns. But all four of them on camera together, and all four of them were a part of that big scene and angle. Rollins really playing a back end. Also, by the way, Rollins talking some shiz today.
Oh, yeah.
Rollins said some very, very salacious things. If you're a fan of Roman Reigns, if you're a fan of Seth Rollins himself, the World Heavyweight Champion, as he proclaims himself the workhorse champion of WWE. We will get to that. That'll be coming up here. But what did you think of this trailer that they dropped? Because it's teasing something with, like, are we getting a tag team match? It's kind of what I got to ask myself.
Yeah, I don't know. And that's what it kind of, was alluding to a little bit. They had Cody and Seth on one side against Roman and The Rock on the other side is what it looked like. And but I love the trailer. It seems like they're really stepping things up. It was like a movie trailer, like a legit movie trailer.
Yes.
And I'm excited to see where they go with this. Do we get a tag team match? I don't think so, but who knows? They have 2 nights of WrestleMania to fill. So what do we do?
Why are we not getting a tag team match? Why are we not getting a tag team match?
I mean, just because it's Cody versus Roman, but there is the 2 nights. So we'll see. Are we going to get Seth versus The Rock on their own? But I guess there is not a good reason to why we wouldn't get a tag team match. I just see that this is Cody versus Roman this year. Still, there's night 2. So,
people saying, "What's up? What's up, Sportskeeda Wrestling? How you doing? What's up, Corey? Get in the comments. Want to hear from you guys. If you guys are watching us live, if you're watching on demand, I want to hear from you as well. If you guys are not with us live, I still want to hear from you. Greetings from Kuwait. How you doing, Philip? Thank you for watching from there. And people are definitely getting in the comments here. Ramon saying Rock will turn on Roman. I've heard some people already say that. Ramon, not Roman, saying The Rock is going to cost Cody the match. And Roman Reigns will be champion forever. Forever.
Oh, man. Well, how do you feel? Do you feel there's going to be a tag team match or?
I think if you just get Cody and Roman at the end of this 2-night thing, and it is a 2-night show, I think you kind of have to think of it that way. Yeah. It is for this, definitely for the television audience. There's a lot of people that only just watch one of them and then they catch up with another one later on.
Yeah.
But I do think WWE is they're now how many years into doing the 2 nights of Mania now? Like at least 3 or 4 at this point.
Yeah.
They haven't done the thing where they thread the needle from night 1 and night 2. And I keep bringing that up, and I do think that's something they want to do, especially when it becomes a streaming offering. When it becomes something of, is it a series? Is WrestleMania a special series? No, but it's a special event. And if you break it up, this gives you more. It gives the people that are subscribing to whatever streaming service you're going to get WWE on, whether it's Peacock or coming up in a year or 2, it's going to be, Netflix, that these are things that will have big payoffs. But we'll keep you going for another big one. You're using the wrestling terminology. We're going to give you a payoff. But we're going to leave you wanting something more. It's never bad. I've been told in wrestling it is never, ever bad to have an audience leaving a show wanting more. Where's the logic bad in that? So if they give you something on Saturday night that makes you want to stay tuned for Sunday night, and you're going to get there is a level of transparent predictability. And I don't think you guys got to stop saying predictable is bad too. It's so silly. And yes, this bloodline is going on too long. Deb is saying that. People saying yeet, right?
Yeet.
Other people with different people. Zach saying Roman's gonna win at WrestleMania. Well, I will get to you about Seth Rollins' opinion about Roman winning things. Because this is gonna be well worth it. If you guys are just tuning in, his comment, I think it's very interesting. The comment he said. I'll get to it here. And Robert Jenkins saying, I will not order WrestleMania 40. AEW gets all of my money. All of your money?
Okay.
All of your money? They need more people like you to buy tickets, apparently.
Yeah.
So here you go. Y'all got to remember, Cody wants to end the story. How is it going to end if he wins? It ends when he wins. That's how the story ends.
That's how it goes.
This story of him winning the world title and bringing it to his family ends when he wins it. That's how the story. I'm not trying to belittle you, Zach, because I could just text in this comment for people in the podcast side of things. That's how the story ends. We get finality. One story ends, another one immediately begins. And the other story is Rock and Roman, which they can get to after WrestleMania. And I get the impression that is what they're going to do. We're not going to get Rock versus Roman this year at WrestleMania. Philip Thurman is when they go to a subscription service, then I'm done watching WWE. I watch AEW. Well, what happens, Philip, when AEW goes to a subscription service? Because I mean, if that's just kind of the way things go, guys. Like that. I mean, I know some people I don't want another subscription. It's cheaper than pay-per-view. That's how they get you. That's how they become a long-term investment for media companies. That's why those things exist. It's just business. And more take here. I want to get to all the comments here. I know a lot of people are commenting here. The story should be Dominic being upset with WWE management and The Rock. I don't think Dominic's going to be in the main event of anything right now, guys. Sorry to upset you with that. I want to see Seth versus Roman, but it's taking too long. I think you will see that match this year, by the way. They did that before. I think you will see that. That was a big thing they got out of the WrestleMania kickoff is there's so many possibilities.
Yeah.
You know? And I think the one thing they wanted to not be unclear and kind of get out of the backlash, but still ride the star power of The Rock was we're giving you Cody versus Roman. You're getting Cody versus Roman. And you're getting The Rock turning heel. And they had you asking enough questions coming out of that show that I thought, banger. It was a very, very special thing. I spoke with some people who were there, who were in the media, who said it felt unique the way this was done.
It was.
And I think it's an interesting play here. I think we're going to get some mixture of night 1 and night 2. I think that's the more I think about this, the more I see things play out today. I caught a little bit of the Wrestling Observer Radio today. Brian Alvarez says he thought it would be night 1 would be a tag team match, and night 2 would be Cody versus Roman, which is still pretty good. And The Rock doesn't have to get in there and wrestle too long, but he's wrestling. I do not think they wrestle at Elimination Chamber. By the way, I don't think we see that. This also allows you to have. This also allows you to have Seth Rollins wrestle twice. You know, so he can do night 2. And he could do something like this, and you have the possibility of the cash in. There's a lot of fun things here, a lot of possibilities here. Want to get some more of your comments here? Which one's popping out to you here? Which one's popping out here? Let's get one up here that and people saying here we go.
There's going to be some stipulations in the title match. Ooh.
What do? You got to do something to protect them from just openly someone running in. They have to do something. They got to give you the sense of this Cody match that it's going to be a match, one-on-one. Because last year, what happened? Solo got in there. Usos got in there. Bunch of interference. What have they done with every Roman match? At some point, someone's got to interfere. The matches are still entertaining and fun, but you kind of see it coming a mile away. You know, the match got really good. Now they have to interfere and save him because he's going to lose.
Yeah,
that type of thing.
I would hope they have some stipulations this time because I've got to stop that.
Yeah. Chuck Berry's saying, being as though WrestleMania is in Philly, just like Royal Rumble was in 2015. Yeah, well, the Royal Rumble in 2015, I think the connection you're trying to make there was Rock endorsing Roman when he was still big dog Roman, and he raised his hand and the whole crowd booed on it. This is a different story. I think if they went with Roman versus Rock this year, Philadelphia, which is a real smart crowd, they would have absolutely booed that match, even though it's a really, really big match. And I also think if they can tell the story next year, you can do, if Rox feels healthy enough to do it, or you don't do it at WrestleMania.
Right.
You know, you could do Rock versus Roman within this year if Rock has the capability and he has the window within insurance of different things that he's committed to. But also, Rock's a bigger player in Hollywood now. Maybe you can just say hell with your insurance thing. I'm going to do it. You know, have some 6'4", 300-pound guy take my bumps for me in a movie. You know, like I'll do that. People say there needs to be a title on the line in the Elimination Chamber. We'll see about that. There's a distinct possibility of that. Yeah. Well, they're doing the Elimination Chamber. In the men's Elimination Chamber, the winner gets to take on Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. You know,
right?
So
that's
already being done there. And then here we go. Extreme and Awesome says it's time for Roman to lose the championship. Let's talk about Roman in that championship, okay? Let's talk about Roman in this championship.
Been a long time.
And you think it's been too long?
I don't know about too long. I think that they're stirring up the crowd just enough. I think his run has been perfect at this point. Last year I did think that they were going to take the belt off of him, but they didn't, and I think they're just playing it up just right for when the time is for him to hand over the belt or to lose the title. So I just think that when it finally happens, you know, they're going to get that pop they're looking for. Everybody's anticipating it. They're doing this just right, in my opinion.
Well, WWE is making the media rounds here, and they're appearing in mainstream media outside of the wrestling bubble. I'm hoping to get a WWE interview in March or WrestleMania, see what happens there. But they were on the Rich Eisen show. Seth Rollins on there, the world heavyweight champion, a guy who claims to be the workhorse champion of WWE, has some very interesting things to say in this interview. And credit to Wrestling Inc. They did some transcription here, and these quotes are quite salacious. It's kayfabe, but we're keeping it kafabi here. But it's still an interesting quote when you consider that they're really trying to keep. This is Rollins working himself into this angle. if he's not a part of a tag team match, he still wants to keep himself interesting here. He understands the speculations out there that his title is, no matter what he thinks, secondary, even though he works really hard on it, and has defended it apparently more and has been more of a present champion on television than Roman has. And that is undeniable. That is fact.
Yeah.
Fact. And then Roman's response is, I have to work 10 times less than you and make more money than you. And, it's just the spin. It's the spin, right? Yeah. So the spin machine's going to hit really hard here for the Roman fans. And I'm not doing this to antagonize you, but this is interesting, this quote. Because this quote was said in an interview outside of WWE television. So this is not just Rollins saying this to you hardcore fans who watch WWE. He's saying this to people that are casual, that just kind of follow it, and maybe they'll watch WrestleMania. We know a lot of those, right? So I want you guys to process that while I read this. That title doesn't mean what it once did. Roman has ruined the title. Ouch. Ouch. He goes on to say, it's the Hollywood title. It's as close to a prop as you can find, as you can call it. And I don't want to demean it because I've been that WWE champion. When I took it everywhere. And he goes on to say that he defended it. Obviously, Roman has been champion for over 1,200 days. And Seth Rollins is the first inaugural WWE World Heavyweight Champion. This new title they made in the fact that Roman has both the world titles and unified them together. So certainly interesting for Rollins to say that. Obviously, he's working it up, getting people talking. But I do think, people saying, here we go. Roman Reigns will surpass Bruno Sammartino, his godly streak of 2,800 days. I tell you, that is not going to happen. That is not feasible. Everyone who thinks Roman has to break these records, I'm going to ask you guys that in the chat. Does Roman Reigns have to break like the world title reign record? Does he have to? And my opinion is no. No, he does not. He does not have to break it. And in the modern age, I don't think he can keep people that patient. Even somebody says to me, like Ramon here, that he's going to break that title record. That it's also worth noting the time frame in which Bruno had that title was completely different. There was only weekly television for an hour or two, market to market at a different time, all the different time. There wasn't social media. There wasn't even VHS tapes. You can even just bring the shows at home. You either paid to watch it live, and maybe some of it, by the time Bruno was done, got to closed circuit, and some of it was on TV. He was a live attraction. He was a completely different attraction for WWE. And I don't see that happening. And then some people say, he'll beat the Hogan record. I think he's losing this title this year, and I think it's very, very likely that he loses it at WrestleMania.
I'd have to agree. I think his time is up. Like you asked me if it was too long. I don't think that it was too long, but I think that it's time. I think that now is the time. And WrestleMania would be a great time to do it. If not, we'll see what happens after that. But I'd have to agree that it's got to be off him by the end of this wrestling year.
Johan saying, I definitely could see him having it to keep it until he breaks the Hulk Hogan record, which is the next one he would be nearing. Currently, I think he's number 3 or 4 in terms of the longest reigning champions, WWE champions, WWE World Champions. People say he'll be champion for the next 4 years. No, he's not.
But he doesn't need these records. He's already solidified himself as one of the greatest champions ever, and he's going to be a Hall of Famer. So
he doesn't.
I don't know about
the semantics of let's stop everything so his name moves up a spreadsheet. It's fun to say and repeat, and it's a trivial thing. And I wouldn't say it's a trivial thing because they made it mean something, right? When he broke 1,000 days, they made it a big deal, right?
Yeah.
And I understand that, but he doesn't need to. Zuck Serious saying he doesn't need to surpass Bruno's record. I agree. He doesn't need to. Other people agree with me here. The Sosco Factory. When Bruno held that title, he did it without the help each match. 100% true.
Yep.
100% true. I'll dare I say this. Roman's kind of a paper champion.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he used to be a lot more of a badass champion, and he would do some conniving things and cheat, and he was kind of ruthless. But he was domineering, like when he won the title and he had Heyman at him. But more of the bloodline means he has to use the bloodline to make these things happen. He got pinned. He got pinned by one of the Usos, so he is beatable. And that was a huge deal because he had not been pinned in years.
Yeah.
And now The Rock's involved, so it'll be crazy here. People saying shout out to all the Cody crybabies. That's still over, isn't it? That's still over. Yeah. Do you? Here we go. Do I think? Well, McGoxing. When Cody wins at WrestleMania, do you think the bloodline will exist? Well, the bloodline is an interesting thing here because is The Rock in the bloodline? I mean, he is, right? He brought it all up. But just is that a faction where he's going to be on TV and you're going to see him be a part of it? I think so. I get that impression.
Think so. Yeah, they did that whole handshake. The blood. They linked up at the end there. I think it's happening.
Mm-hmm. People say Gunther is a better champion than Roman at the moment. You got an argument there. But also Roman's just a destination. He's more of a storyline than he is a champion at this point. Which is part of it. Beating someone for a title is a story to tell. And love getting more of these comments here. Want to see Dominic do the pipe bomb? Yeah, he'll do a pipe bomb for sure. Want to get into some news here outside of WWE, and I'll kind of cover your questions. If you guys have questions about anything going on with WWE, the WrestleMania Night 1, Night 2 main events, we're going to get to those, okay? I want to get to them here. We have some backstage news about AEW that is very interesting that broke in the last few hours. Slam the like button if you haven't done so already. Kazuchika Okada, one of the biggest names in pro wrestling outside of WWE, just wrapped up his commitments to New Japan Pro Wrestling. I just watched his final match for them at New Beginning in Osaka, Japan. He lost to he defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi, excuse me. A fun match. That's their Cena Orton for New Japan. That's been their big go-to match. But Fightful Select reporting yesterday that it indeed appears that he's going to All Elite Wrestling. He did have some conversations with WWE, but they believed through sources in AEW, pen may have not been put to paper, but he's agreed in principle to go to AEW in some way or another. Obviously, he's appeared for them before on the Forbidden Door shows, combining the efforts of New Japan and AEW. So he's not no stranger. And obviously, I think more the hardcore audience, the internet-driven audience of AEW will know a Kazuchika Okada before a casual WWE fan. Still, he's a guy who's been on the record saying he wants to be on a WrestleMania. You can only do that in one place. You can only do it in WWE. What do you think of Okada joining AEW?
I think it was the right decision for him. Lesser schedule. He can really up the rank, get up in the ranks right away when he comes over to AEW. He's already been there. He's already shown his face there. And, I just think
you don't have to reintroduce him to the audience. You don't have to WWE spent a lot of time doing it. Not to say they wouldn't make it a big deal. They would make it a big deal if they got him. You know what I mean?
It would be huge, but still, going to AEW, like I said, he's already known and he can come be a big time player right away. Not that he wouldn't be in WWE, but there's just so much going on in WWE right now. It's like, where do you fit this guy in? Because he's a great talent and you want to fit him in. But I think that over in AEW, he can shine a little bit more right off the bat.
Other people commenting here, actually, I really would have wanted him to appear at WrestleMania. I heard some people say that cool. Does that become a thing now where you just have someone debut at WrestleMania? Cool. They did with Cody. It was a big deal, right?
Exactly.
It's also worth noting Mercedes Moné. We've known this for a while, but more sources indicating that the entire big business show that's been planned for TD Gardens, Boston in March, selling well. 5,700 tickets sold for that show reportedly so far. Not a ton of tickets in terms of big arena wrestling shows, but a very healthy crowd for them there.
Yeah.
And that's a good house for them considering, how they've been struggling and it's been out there. You can find it. It's not hard to find these numbers. So the fact that they have this is good. And that's sold on the rumor that Mercedes Moné is joining the company and she's going to come out in her hometown, a la CM Punk did years for AEW. Right. It's a pattern they've set up. It makes sense. They need her. They need an Okada. They need these stars. They need a kick in the pants. Mercedes Moné joining there. I think it's a strong move for them. They need a big star. They need star power. I mean, not to say they don't. They just have a lot of people that came over from WWE and just get lost in the shuffle and don't feel as big and as important as they were before. I think that's just the balance of being a new company that makes pro wrestling weekly television.
Yeah, I have to agree. I was kind of surprised initially that Mercedes Moné was going to AEW. I mean, not shocked, but when I saw Naomi come back, I was like, maybe she could play a factor in Mercedes Moné coming back to WWE. But it seems like she's going to AEW, which I think is great for the women's division over there. I think it makes it much stronger. After they lost Jade Cargill, that was kind of upsetting for an AEW fan.
Jade Cargill popped up in a Mountain Dew commercial last night.
Yeah,
Super Bowl.
yeah, she was there. It's just crazy. Yeah. But which means they might have some big time plans over there in WWE, which I think they do. But after AEW loses her, I think it's big time to get somebody like Mercedes Moné in the women's division. So,
and this falls in line with what Tony Khan said he was going to do. He said in 2024 he's going to be big in the free agency market. This is a part of that. Sting is set to retire in a couple weeks, coming up here in March at the Revolution event, going to be in Greensboro, North Carolina. Of course, Sting's a huge name there. The NWA, Jim Crockett Promotions in the 80s into the 90s, WCW, massive name. He played there many, many times. Shows sold out. Like over 10,000 tickets bought for this show. I don't know the exact number, but I know the last time I checked it was over 10,000, and then it sold out. So good on them. Big numbers for them. This is like an exceptionally strong show for AEW. And an attraction. You have Sting and Darby Allin. They recently won the AEW World Tag Team titles. They were attacked by the Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, now calling themselves by their proper full names. And they got bloodied suits. And they also have have you seen this video they did that makes it look like Succession? Have you ever seen Succession?
Yes.
That. I thought that was really well done. So, I mean, they're heels. There's been some debate about how this stuff. People saying, Revolution sold 16,000 tickets. Thank you. Appreciate it. Nice. Last time I checked, it was over 10,000. So good on that. Okay. So they're doing pretty well. They have all these big names coming over, but you got to have a satisfying ending. This is Sting, who has some limitations. This is a guy who's 65. Had spinal stenosis, but is still out there bumping. He hasn't done singles matches. I know some people wanted a singles match for Sting in this farewell. But how do you think AEW's done so far? I've heard some people being critical of it, saying this was only 5 weeks. Our very own Vince Russo over on the WrestleBinge channel. You guys can check that out. I'm not saying I completely agree with Vince, but I did get the sense of like there could have been, they announced this back in December or November that this would be a thing. And they only let you know who he was going to face like a few weeks ago. And now the tag titles are on Darby and him. And so then the tag titles are going to be on the line. My assumption is that that's the case. There is some things with it that are questionable, but I still think no matter what, this thing's going to be delivered on the emotion of it just being Sting's last match.
Yeah, I think that they could have hyped it up a little bit more. I know I've had to tell people that Sting's final match is coming up very soon. And they're like, really? And I was like, you didn't know about it? And so I think that they could have done a lot better job.
That's an interesting point. That's an interesting point. This is a selling point for fans who've never seen AEW, that are Sting fans, that are WCW fans, that are WWE fans, that are casual wrestling fans. That would be like, hey, do you know Sting's like the fact that you're telling me that? That's the thing where I'm like, you could have built this up and wrapped it up. They had Ric Flair a part of it, and they really pulled out of the Ric Flair business, I think, recently. And Rick was going to be a part of it. So I wonder if that was something that kind of made them pull back a little bit.
That makes sense, and I could definitely see that. But no matter what, it is Sting's last match. I think it will be huge no matter what. And I expect Sting to take some big bumps in this final match. He's been doing it.
He's been doing that, though.
Yeah.
And every time he does these they do these big multi-man tag team matches, and he'll always leap off something and land on people. And I'm just, and also he does things that are like finessing, and he'll take a handful of bumps, but the bumps he takes are huge. I'm always like scared. And also he's a guy who used to have like a ripped chisel physique, but he wears gear that hides whatever age he might have.
Yeah,
I know some people were critical of. I saw some clip. It's like, do you know Sting's wrestling again? Like somebody just haven't watched it at all. It's like he's out there wearing dicky pants, fighting people like he's fighting someone's uncle at a barbecue. Like it was just like ridiculous. I remember seeing this clip. I'm quoting a comedian, Rob Mayfield. Rob Mayfield, I saw your clip. I know Rob. Shout out Rob. So I think they can make it a big deal. People saying they got to have Rick and Sting hung out at the end. I do think Rick will be a part of it. Rick Flair will be there. You'll have him come out. People will go woo. It'll be a big deal. So I mean, they got to make it a big deal. It just like it feels like a big deal, but am I wrong? I want it to feel bigger. Like this is the attraction. This is what sold the tickets. Don't fool yourself. This is Sting, Greensboro, North Carolina. His last match. That's the attraction. You have to deliver on it.
You remember how big Ric Flair's final match was?
I was there.
One? Yeah, you were there. Yeah, that was.
And mind you, the match was fine. You know, like everyone
Right.
said it was the worst thing they've ever seen. But it was a bunch of Gaga and all this different stuff. But it was a celebration of Rick, and the Gaga did enough. Everyone who says it's like the worst thing ever, no, it wasn't. I've seen worse matches. That's just my take. But yeah, I think they got something special, and I think AEW needs something special. And they got Okada, they got Mercedes Moné there. They got some good things going on right here. They got some good stuff going on right here.
Good stuff.
Here we go. We'll get into comments and questions. You ready for these?
Ready.
Kim with a comment here. Why don't you hop in on that one?
She says, I'm seeing where Jade Cargill is not remembering spots while at PC. Being said, she still needs a lot more work.
Oh, shove it. That's what I say. I love how people are critical of someone's in-ring bell-to-bell work. Kim, I'm not being serious. You don't have to shove it anywhere. But honestly, like, I don't get the whole, I think they need more in-ring work. They need to run the ropes, or like all those technical comments. I'm like, you don't know what you're talking. Like, I have to say you don't know what you're talking about. And maybe they're hiding her a little bit, and maybe they are getting her ready to be a certain wrestler. But she did a lot in AEW, and they hit her weaknesses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's that. Rich with a comment here. Batista should show up and beat up The Rock. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but I think The Rock's done in the wrestling business. I wonder if The Rock, Batista, he was going to do the Hall of Fame, and then the pandemic happened.
Right.
And then he didn't want to do the Hall of Fame because there wasn't fans there. I wonder when he'll do the Hall of Fame, when he'll take it.
Yeah, it's bound to happen, definitely. I mean, Batista he's earned his stripes. He's earned his way into the Hall of Fame. But yeah, that's interesting. I'm not sure when he'll decide to do it. Whenever he does, he'll be welcomed in with open arms. But yeah, that's an interesting point. I don't know when he's
back on Jade. What do you think of this question here from Corey? Jade Cargill, SmackDown or Raw?
Ooh, I'm thinking they're gonna go with. Let's see. I think she'll go to Raw. I think there's some big time matchups there. I think that isn't Bianca Belair on Raw.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would see them going that way. I think that she could challenge Rhea Ripley. I think she could be somebody that she brings that power, and could really be a real deal threat towards Rhea Ripley's championship. So for me, I would say Raw. She did show up on SmackDown. I saw that and whatnot, but I would say she's going to go to Raw. That's just my opinion. But at the same time, she was going at Nia Jax in the Royal Rumble. You can see something going there. So we'll see what happens.
Bianca is SmackDown, I believe. I'm trying to keep up with
Oh, she's SmackDown.
Here's one. Sportskeeda. Well, yeah, we are Sportskeeda, I guess. Yeah, but yep. I'm Kevin. That is Nick. Mr. Robert Dinkins says, should AEW have women's tag team titles? I'm going to say right now, no. They have three women's titles. They have one for Ring of Honor. They have the TBS Women's Championship. They have the AEW Women's Championship. 3 women's singles championships. You're adding another championship that just gets lost. It just gets lost in the show. I don't think on the surface it's too hard to say that AEW has an issue with having too many titles. And I think that there are too many titles there that you forget are even there, Right. And so ask us anything wrestling. We're going to wrap up with a couple more questions here. I want to get some more here. Liana saying that she's on SmackDown. Okay, she's on SmackDown. I understand.
SmackDown. My fault, guys. So
we got you. Victor Nash. Since AEW has Ospreay, Omega. Well, Omega's on the shelf. Let's hope he heals up and can wrestle again. Diverticulitis is a pretty serious case for him. He hasn't even been able. Last I heard, he hasn't even been able to get surgery for that. He's been dealing with some serious pain there for a long time. Now Okada and Mercedes is coming. How long do you think it will be before they get lost in the shuffle?
I hope it doesn't happen. I hope they don't get lost. I hope they handle this a little bit better this time.
Well, I mean, the thing is with AEW is you have 2 nights of Dynamite, right? You have 2 hours of Dynamite every Wednesday. You have Rampage on Friday, and you have Collision. 2 hours on Saturday. And the ratings are the ratings, but they're still waiting on a TV deal. And I think if you're a diehard AEW fan, you have some friends there that you like, your favorites that are there now, you're going to have an issue with the next few months because I think the new names they bring in are going to get featured quite a bit. Just like how CM Punk came in, kind of shuffled the deck a little bit for WWE, even though he didn't wrestle that much. It shuffled the pecking order in terms of different things heading into WrestleMania season. And that is the case here too. And it's going to happen. And then maybe do they get lost in the shuffle? I don't want to say that. I don't want to say people get lost in the shuffle. But you look at a Claudio Castagnoli. He was a big star when he came there. He doesn't feel as big of a star as he should be, even though he's done big matches and big things with them. Bryan Danielson is a huge star. You could still have him main event. He just did a great
Mm-hmm.
match with Zack Sabre Jr. over in Japan this past weekend.
Yes.
He's doing the wrestling he wants to do. Is he doing a wrestling though? A wrestling right now. It's a weird way to phrase it. That makes him an attraction. So they need people that are attractions. They need people that sell tickets. They need people that reach beyond the regular audience. And apparently, you need to do that with some fresh names. Here's the one. Where are Britt Baker? Britt Baker dealing with long-term injury issues that she's dealt with. MJF, same thing. Really bad shoulder injury that he wrestled through at the up to the World's End pay-per-view where we knew he was going to drop the title. He kind of alluded to it, and he did. And that devil reveal angle. And now Samoa Joe has it. So, and I know MJF said he was a free agent in 2024. You don't buy that, do you?
No, I don't buy it. And I think that, him stepping away right now I know that he's really hurt, but I think, him being silent and all that is a big time play. It's, creating some controversy. People are skeptical of what he's going to do, where he's going to go if he comes back. But I think we all know that he's going to stay with AEW. And
on the getting lost in the AEW shuffle thing, Steve Sir, he's been commenting for years. Thank you so much, Steve. He goes, I wish Jay White should have signed with WWE. He has been wasted in AEW. I don't think he's been wasted. I wouldn't say he's been wasted. I don't get that. Because the Bullet Club Gold and Bang 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 get a lot of TV time. You know, like he's on TV a lot. He's in significant angles. Do I think he's as big a star as he could be? No, but he's been featured in pay-per-views, and he's been featured on television enough. And even when he's not wrestling, he's on the show. You feel they have an entrance that people are mimicking, so I don't get that impression. Jay White, I don't get that impression nearly as much as I do with other guys. Like Miro got lost. He had injuries. Andrade, he had all the backstage issues. So there's a lot of different reasons, a lot of different reasons as to why that happened. Yeah. Here we go. What do you think of this? We're getting into real serious issues here. D. Papat. Do you think Stephanie? Do you mean Stephanie McMahon? You didn't bring up her last name. This could be any Stephanie.
Any Stephanie.
It could be Stephanie that we went to high school with. You know what I mean? Like who knows? I assume you're talking about Stephanie McMahon here. Do you think she'll bring order to WWE? Well, there already is order in WWE. It's Ari Emanuel and The Rock in terms of the corporate infrastructure. I know, D, that you mean Stephanie McMahon. I was just being playful because we're talking about a very, very serious subject where it's going to get into very, very serious legal things. I just wanted to have some levity before we went there. I think if we didn't see Stephanie come back already, I don't think we're going to see her come back anytime soon. I think she's done with the wrestling business. I get that impression.
I'd have to agree,
at least the wrestling business. I could see her in entertainment working somewhere. There's people I've talked to that said she would be a really great network executive. I was like, yeah, she would.
Probably.
That makes a lot of sense.
Definitely.
Yeah. So here we are. We're 2 weeks out from our 2 months, rather just under 2 months out from all the things with WrestleMania. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think the night 1, night 2 scenario has to be? We're ending with Cody.
Yes.
Now I don't know what you're doing night 1. I know you're doing I know you're doing night 2. Or maybe do they end with Rock and the tag team match, if that's the idea? Or do they end with Rock and Roman night 2? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think the bigger story is Cody and Reigns. To me, it has been. Everybody wants to see if Cody's going to finish the story. We want to see.
Yeah. So he's going to. He's
got it.
People. Here we go. Do you think we'll get a tag team match at the Chamber? Roman and Rock versus Cody and Seth. No, I think if you get Roman and Rock versus Cody and Seth, you get that at WrestleMania in some form or another. And it's a tag team match, so it allows, even though you have those guys, 2 of those guys will be wrestling twice at least with Roman and Cody if they have the match the next night. You would have a tag team match with lessen the load and bring down the law of average of a possibility of an injury or something like that. And you could do a lot more gaga interference things in a tag team match.
Oh, yeah.
And then really just dial it into Roman, just these guys. It's just going to be these guys the next night. And maybe you have some Gaga, but not enough.
Yeah.
John Resart, do you see Roman retaining at WrestleMania? What do you think? You already know what I think.
It could happen, but I don't know. I think this year it's Cody's year. I have seen a lot of people that say they would love to see Roman retain because they just want to see the reactions of certain fans. They want to see the reaction.
Do they want Roman to win, or do they just want to see people get upset?
No, they're just trolls. They want to see people get upset.
Yes.
They don't care. They could care less.
Yes.
But that's the people that I see wanting Roman to win. But I think it's Cody's year. I think it's got to happen. We did it last year.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was happening last year. It's this year. Cody, finish the story. Let's do this, man. Finish the story.
I agree. Yeah. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Did you have a good time? Go ahead and hit the like button. Also, if you're with us on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. More than 100,000 of you have, wrestling fans just like you. A lot of exclusive deep dive content. We break down this entire WrestleMania situation. And we're going to do even more of it in terms specifically with what The Rock has to do. Jesse Hyde. WWE got power hungry Rock in a storyline with Cody. AEW got TK signing Monet, Sasha Okada, Ospreay for TK buying New Japan to Stardom. He's not buying New Japan to Stardom. I can tell you that. At least not now. And Rich, all of Vince's cronies will be gone by the end of the year. Hayes and Pritchard, possibly Triple H. I've heard all that speculation too.
Me too.
I don't know about that. I think that's a little bit too early to determine currently. But word is that Ari Emanuel, TKO board, they are going to get rid of anybody they think that has too close of in their eyes some type of connection to Vince McMahon. So I could see where you would say that, but I would hold off on that right away. I don't think it's going to be, if that hasn't happened already, I think it'll be a while before we know where that shoe kind of drops. Yeah. I'd like to see Roman retain to piss off the Cody crybabies. Exactly
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I just want to see people get upset. I can't digest joy myself, so I need to see other people upset for me to have joy. Yes. I don't want to watch a car race around a track. I want to watch it crash into a wall. That's what you want. So there we go. All right. So if you haven't done so, go ahead and follow Sportskeeda on all the different apps. You can hear Nick and I as well on the Instagram. You can hear human beings on our Instagram from time to time. And we have a lot of fun. We have fun here. And you can check out Vince Russo as well over on the Wrestle Binge channel tonight, bro. Tonight after Monday Night Raw, giving his take. We'll also have Unscripted. Every Tuesday night, we do a Q&A session with Bill Apter. We also have some special guests on there. Teddy Long on the Wrestle Binge channel as well with Mac Davis and Bill Apter going into the Wrestling Time Machine. And then on Friday nights, right after SmackDown, Dutch Mantell does Smack Talk. Dutch has been kicking some ass recently. He's been having some really, really good content. We have a fresh episode of that. So if you're still looking for something to watch before you go to Monday Night Raw tonight, there you go here. If you joined us late, you can watch our whole show. Just go back to the beginning and watch the whole show and get in the comments below. Let us know what you think. I will be in the comments after the show, talking for another 5 minutes or so here. So if you're watching on demand, go ahead and hang out with us. Thank you guys so much for watching wrestling. Nick, if they want to follow you, where do they go, bud?
Go to Twitter, and I am at nharksen24. That is at NHARKSEN24.
You can follow me on the Twitter. I still call it Twitter. At Kev Kellum. That's KEVKELLAM. On the Instagram, at KevKellum6. Busy with Roast Battle Chicago, my comedy show. We're going to be at Zany's this Thursday. If you know anyone in Chicago, come on out. And you can watch our shows as well. We have a bunch of full shows free on YouTube. Search Roast Battle Chicago. Comedians competing with each other live on stage. All right. Sportskeeda has a whole bunch of content for you and exclusives as well coming up with WrestleMania. So keep it right here. And remember, when watching wrestling, please do the most important thing. What is that, Nicholas?
Enjoy wrestling.
Mm-hmm.